Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Pre-recorded from Volpes Studios, it's the MCS1 show, featuring Caleb and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the MCS1 show. MCS1 with me, my good friend Caleb.
As always, what's up, Mark?
As always,
Except when I'm not.
Except most Thursday episodes.
Except when I'm not. But other than the times when I'm not, though, I'm always here.
Pretty much. So today we're going to talk about kind of something a little bit different. This is more of an interesting subject matter. This is, I was going to get out and say it, we're going to be discussing those people, or this could even be you. It's been me in the past as well. I've been guilty of this.
I'm sure most people have.
Yeah, most people have. When your passion turns you into a beehole.
Beehole, of course, referencing
Butthole.
Councilman Jam.
Yeah, it's
from Parks and Recreation.
Exactly. And beehole is 10 times funnier than a-hole for some reason.
It really is. I don't know why, man. Maybe it's because a-hole's too normalized.
It's too normalized. I think that's what it is. But beehole is just, it's so ridiculous. So when your passion turns you into a beehole. So I'm going to start off with talking about a former roommate I have who is the perfect prime example of this. And I have several scenarios, which makes this so perfect.
Oh, nice.
So this particular roommate I had, he was really big into World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And I was big into World of Warcraft. He started playing when it came out.
Okay.
Good for him. That's like a big thing that WoWers are always proud of. I've been playing since day one, or vanilla as they called it.
Was he like a beta tester?
No, he wasn't a beta tester.
Oh, okay.
Which oddly enough, that's my claim to fame, is I would claim to be a beta tester for WoW. It's a complete lie. And people say they were testing the beta. I say I was testing the alpha. Oddly enough,
alpha's before beta.
Yeah,
nerds.
Oddly enough, an old coworker, I was telling him about this, and he said, I actually was beta testing.
No way.
And
that's funny.
And he goes, yeah, I was actually beta testing. But he was cool about it. And he wasn't a jerk. His passion didn't make him an a-hole.
Sure.
Which is why it's so funny. So then...
you mean his passion didn't make him a beehole?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Of course.
His passion didn't make him a beehole, which
Right.
is why it was so cool. And so moving back to my roommate, I found out he played WoW, and I'm like, oh, cool. I play WoW too. Because this is back like when I played WoW, and I mentioned, I played the original Warcraft. I played Warcraft 2, 3,
Dude, great
expansions.
Games.
Great games. And you know what? I said I didn't play WoW because I was on my LDS mission at the time when it came out.
Sure.
But when I got home in about 2006, that's when I actually started playing. And so he goes, oh, okay. And I think he felt threatened by that.
What?
Because like he always tried to like one-up me on things with WoW.
Gosh.
So this is the classic one-upper as well. But
dude, you don't even know.
You don't even know. So there was like a way you could measure how big of a nerd you are in that game. And it's called achievement points. And the average WoW player had like right now has about 3,000 achievement points.
Okay.
Usually. And then there's people who are like a lot more in depth that have more.
So as a complete layman, do achievement points give you anything, or is it just...
Yeah, somewhat. There's the Dragon Ball Z reference for it's over 9,000.
Oh, nice.
And when you get over 9,000 achievement points, you get an achievement called It's Over 9,000, which doesn't award achievement points. Oddly enough, but it's just something funny, and it's a good way to gauge how big of a loser you are and how much time you sunk into this game. And so I have quite a few achievement points. He has currently, because I follow him on other thing where I can follow people and see how much they are at. He currently has 21,000 achievement points, which is 7 times more than the average player.
Jeez, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And so, anyway, he would always use like the excuse that he had more achievement points than me. Anything we would talk about. And then I was like, okay, that's cool, man. Well,
if only achievement points counted in real life.
If only it mattered. And so then there was a particular achievement in this game called the Insane,
Okay.
which is a title you get. Like you have your character's name and then the Insane afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And it was really hard to get. It takes a lot of time and it kind of makes you go crazy. I spent a lot of my spare time in towards the end of my community college studies and before I moved to Utah, and then slightly after I moved to Utah when I didn't know anyone, playing this game with my brother, and he helped me get it, and so I finally got the
Insane.
Insane title.
So your MCS1
or-
the Insane.
Or yeah, MCS1 the Insane, or Desp as my character was named at the time. This is so nerdy. Anyway, I had this, and he was upset that I had it. And when he found out that I had it, he started working on it
Oh my god.
to get it. And hold on, this got even better. There was an announcement that came out at BlizzCon that they were going to get rid of it.
No way.
And he was about I'd say maybe a third or 2/3 into it.
Oh no.
At this point, I think about a third. Whatever, the progress is irrelevant. And so what he started doing was he went and he bought I think he spent maybe $200 on WoW Gold
Holy
to try
crap.
to catch up on this to get it. And then Blizzard came out and said, "Hey, we're actually not going to remove it." After he spent the money on the WoW Gold, and the part that he spent the money on the WoW Gold for, which was probably one of the harder parts, they actually were removing from the achievement
Oh no.
as well. So it
way.
was irrelevant. So
Oh my
he
gosh.
literally wasted $200
Oh, that is the worst.
buying WoW Gold, breaking the in-game rules of purchasing WoW Gold from a third-party person.
Oh,
And so
man.
anyway, he did eventually get this, but because I had this before him, he always acted like he was superior to me because he had more achievement points or whatever. It was always something, and it's basically just a glorified pissing contest in video game stuff. But here's the thing, the thing is, and he listened to me on my past show, I really like World of Warcraft for the most part. I hate it for quite a while, then I started liking it again. I like it more now because most people don't play, and it's kind of hated
Yeah.
a lot. And
We could have started that trend. Who knows?
yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
And so, but instead of my roommate wanting to build a fun relationship, talking about stuff WoW related, he wanted to turn it into a competition
yeah, that's annoying.
and show that he was better with it rather than, become better friends or closer or just something that could lift each other up.
That's super lame, man.
And that's what I'm getting into when your passion turns you into an a-hole.
B-hole.
Or
B-hole.
B-hole. When your passion turns you into a b-hole. Now, same roommate, another subject matter, Star Wars.
Oh,
My
no.
family's real big into Star Wars.
Sure.
I'm real
I
big
think most people are.
Most people are. I'm
Yeah.
not like a super duper huge Star Wars fan. I got a Kylo Ren outfit. I played a couple games, got some action figures, read some books.
It's a fun universe. Let's be
Yeah,
serious. It's
it's-
really fun.
It's fun. And so there's a video game called The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's not,
Video game called The Force Unleashed.
That's the one. Yeah, not Awakens. The Force. That Awakens was
Force
the movie.
Unleashed
obviously.
is a good one. And
That's where the dude
I
wears
don't really-
the lightsaber backwards, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That was a fun game.
And it's cool. Here's the thing about it. It's not really a canon thing, or there was
No.
nothing set with it. It was a cool game, and I was talking to my roommate about it, and he goes, "Well, it's not really canon," and just was trying to throw it under the bus that I was even playing it
What?
or having a good time with it. Granted, I haven't even played much of it. I've only seen my brothers play it. So he would brag about how he read all the Star Wars books and all this other stuff. Basically, he was the Star Wars knowledge Bible or whatever, something to that effect.
Oh boy.
And so
Star Wars prophet.
Star Wars prophet. And so it made me really happy a few years ago when Disney acquired Star Wars and they cut a lot of things that he said were
Oh,
canon.
Yeah, they did cut a lot.
They
didn't
cut a
they?
lot of things
That's true.
and so it kind of made me really happy because he was acting so pompous that he was the expert on this and that he was saying whatever I was saying wasn't canon or good enough when I was just trying to talk about a video game. And then all of his stuff gets cut too.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I thought that was hilarious.
Please
And-
tell me you held that over his head for the
No,
rest of his
I haven't
life.
I haven't seen him since.
Dang it.
When that happened, I actually I had moved out. He ended up blocking me on Facebook and all this
Oh,
other
jeez.
stuff. He showed me.
So clearly he won.
He won. Yeah, he won.
He won that. He has more achievement points, bro.
Yeah, he does.
Dude, you don't even know how many achievement points he has, bro.
Actually, I do. I just said it a while ago.
Dude, you don't even know though.
I don't. Yeah. So, but anyway, so that's like what I'm talking about when I'm talking about your passion turns you into a beehole. That exact type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think this is also, like we talk about nerds a lot of the show, a little bit. We talk about geeks, and honestly,
Yeah, the
I think
difference. Yeah.
this is the biggest difference between a nerd and a geek, to be honest, because geeks, their passions really turn them into beeholes.
Oh, big
And
time.
they try to hoard knowledge over your head, act like they're better than you. Nerds don't care.
No,
they
they
call
just
each
wanna have
other
fun
nerds,
conversations.
and they just joke about stuff and they laugh. They don't care, and they don't take it serious. Like they take it seriously, but not in the sense where they're like out for blood if you disagree with them.
Yeah, it's
on
kind
something.
of on like a weird analogy that doesn't really tie it in perfectly, but geeks are like the Westboro Baptist Church version of Christianity.
Oh man,
but
I'd say it's pretty accurate.
But I mean, it's just, they're just people that are just like, oh, well, we know better than you about these things, and you're going to our version of hell
Yeah.
or whatever. That's because that's kind of how I feel like when I talk to people. I mean, I'm a huge Marvel nerd.
yeah,
I love Marvel. I wouldn't consider myself a Marvel expert because it's way too expansive
yeah,
for
and
me to
he's
spend
getting
enough time.
bigger.
Oh
and
yeah,
bigger,
big time,
and,
big time.
And plus, like all those past issues, like I looked at like some of the old issues, like their dialogue is insanely long.
Oh yeah, big
with
time,
everything,
big time, big time.
And so it's like to know everything about Marvel and stuff like that. That's a feat in itself.
Oh yeah, and I mean, at preference wise, I like Marvel over DC. It's not to say that DC sucks. It's just my preference leans towards Marvel.
DC sucks. No, I'm just kidding. I just
That guy, oh yeah, the guy that directed, what did he direct, Suicide or whatever?
Suicide Squad.
And he's like, Marvel sucks, and then he like, or didn't he say Marvel effing sucks or something
I
like
don't
that?
know.
Anyway, and then my favorite part about that whole encounter though is that Stan Lee tweeted him back and was like, "Hey, way to stick up for your people" or whatever. And then he was just like, it was just, I mean, Stan Lee doesn't care. He's a freaking multi-millionaire he's making money.
He sold Marvel to Disney. Let's
Yeah,
be real.
well, yeah, multi-billionaire then probably. He's probably richer than Tony Stark. But yeah, that's probably actually not too far.
Not too far off, I'm guessing.
But anyway, all these people that are coming though with the DC versus Marvel stuff, I hate those debates. Well, I shouldn't say I hate those debates. I hate that people take them seriously, but I love that they exist.
The debates are cool, but it's when your passion turns you into a beehole, and
yeah.
they start getting all fired up over it. And be like, no, bro, you're wrong. Here's why. In all caps,
it's
bold,
the worst,
written
dude.
in red.
Well, and it's like people are always saying like, oh, well, here's where DC Universe characters are better than Marvel. And then people come back with, oh, well, here's where Marvel Universe characters are better. And it's like, dude, just have fun with it.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was, I can't remember the director's name, actually. It was the director for the new Ghostbusters movie.
I forget his name.
Yeah, and he said geek culture is home to some of the biggest assholes today. And granted, I'm paraphrasing it.
Right.
But
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I
You
mean,
know.
we're calling them beeholes.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
Yeah,
fairly
It's
accurate.
pretty much the same thing.
But he said that because he was so tired of getting attacked for the new Ghostbusters reboot that came out.
which I didn't.
Which
like.
Caleb did not see. I saw it, didn't mind it, didn't love it, didn't hate it. I would have saw a sequel. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't amazing.
Dude, that movie flopped so hard though.
And it did, which was
Oh,
hilarious
man.
to me.
Well, and it was just, I mean, they spent all this time shaming people into seeing it, and then they were just like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be shamed into seeing your movie just because you're going
Well,
to
the
shame
thing is, it's
people.
like I saw that movie, and with all the outrage, from everyone being a beehole about it and stuff, and I saw the movie, and I'm like, man, it wasn't that big of a deal.
No. But I think the main rage against that movie though was the fact that they went full social justice warrior on it,
Yeah.
and they just started attacking people from oh, you're a sexist viewpoint. I think that was the big thing because, like,
yeah,
honestly, I wasn't planning on seeing it in any way, shape, or form. Mostly just because I didn't really like the first Ghostbusters that much. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I didn't think it was that great.
man.
And so
Do you like the second one?
it was okay.
It's not a big Ghostbusters fan, huh?
No, and Ghostbusters, okay, Ghostbusters is fun. Like, I'm not gonna say that I hated those movies, but I didn't watch them and then think to myself afterwards, man, that was the best thing I've ever seen. Like so many people.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
definitely entertaining and they're unique.
Sure,
and
sure.
they're unique.
But the thing is for me is I was like, I definitely had no plans to see it in theaters at all. But it's just because, and it had nothing to do with the cast. It had nothing to do with the marketing campaign and all the crap they were pulling on that one. Though that did kind of annoy me.
Jade you a lot.
Well, it didn't. I mean, it jaded me, but it was more just like, okay, you guys are being idiots. What you're doing is you're alienating the people that would actually see your movie.
Exactly.
But then it was just like, I didn't really think it was going to be that interesting. I'm not a huge Ghostbusters guy, so it was like, I don't care,
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I was planning on seeing it when it came out. I was going to probably Redbox it or something.
Yeah.
I didn't end up doing that either because at that point I was just like, well,
just so upset.
well, no, it's just I heard from so many people that it sucked that I was just like, and from some sources that I honestly trust
Yeah.
that it sucked, and so then I was just like, well, I don't want to waste money. I'll just wait for it to come out on TNT or some crap like
Yeah,
that
seriously.
on TV or something, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah,
But
it's an interesting one watch type of thing.
yeah, see, and that's my thing is that I'm not gonna spend my money on a one watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna spend my money to go see a movie, it's gonna be something that I desperately want to see, and that I could see myself going to see again.
Yeah.
If like someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to go see this again with me?" Then I would go. Right?
Exactly.
Kind of like what happened with Deadpool. I saw that movie 13 times.
One
in
of
theaters.
which was with me.
Yeah.
So, the other interesting thing, like getting on the topic, getting away from like comic books, geekdom, and all that type of stuff. I see this a lot with musicians. A lot, especially in the Happy Valley area.
Yep.
It's like, and it could be over anything. It could be over the type of guitar you play, like gear choices, types of scales you use, anything.
Yeah,
type of music that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And this is where your passion really turns you into a beehole.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, okay, so my drum set that I have at home is a Tama, which it's a pretty high rated drum set. And when I was out shopping, it was a cheaper price for a really good set.
Yeah.
And it was because it was like $900. Where that quality of a drum set was only about $2,500.
Yeah, but still $900 still? Like
Yeah.
it's still quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and-
regardless.
Exactly. And and to be fair with that, I got an extra cymbal, I got an extra tom.
My bass
and so-
that I have with all of
Mhm.
its modifications and stuff, and I pumped a lot of money into this
Sure.
thing. It's not even $900.
Yeah. But again, like because it's a Tama and it's not like one of the because the thing is that Tama is one of the top rated drum sets in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like number 3 on drummersworld.com that they invented and all this stuff. And I actually trust their opinion a lot. They do a lot of really cool stuff. I follow their newsletter and everything. But I mean, it wasn't the top rated. It wasn't like Yamaha or anything like that. Like Yamaha drums are phenomenal,
Yeah.
but they're also phenomenally expensive.
Yeah.
Like, and I looked this up afterwards. Like, just getting the bass drum in a Yamaha set sets you back about $600.
Holy cow.
Yeah. But it's because of the quality and the time and the effort and the work that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
And I get that. I understand why it costs that much, but I'm not going to pay that much just for a slightly better sound.
Exactly.
But when I bought that, I was talking to this other guy that drums at my job, and he's drummed for a while. I've only drummed for about 12 years. It's not like a ton. It's
12 years, not a big deal.
Well, it's compared to other other drummers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that much. Plus, I mean, technically, you should only really say 10 because when I took my 2 years off, it's not like I was drumming. For my LDS mission, it's not like I was drumming
See, I had an acoustic
while I was
bass.
out there. See, that's cool. You can't do that with a drum set. What am I
Yeah,
going to take
know.
around?
I got pretty lucky though.
But anyway, and so I was talking to this guy where I work, and he's drummed for like 20 years and all this stuff, and like, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a Thomas set, and he's like, Thomas sucks. Thomas the worst. And I was
Yeah.
like, really? You're gonna go to the worst?
The worst.
Like it's immediately because it's not number 1. It's immediately the worst.
If you're not first, you're last.
Well, and it's like this isn't Talladega Nights. Like,
Oh,
calm
man.
down.
So I
You
get
know?
I get a lot of crap. So my bass is an Epiphone.
Okay,
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Epiphone.
not too
or anything like
familiar.
that.
I'm not a big. I don't know a lot about about guitar stuff.
Yeah,
to
so
be
you're
honest.
familiar with Gibson.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Gibson,
Everyone is though.
Yeah, everyone's familiar with Gibson. Gibson's like the mainstream high quality go-to guitar
And
brand.
they're good guitars.
Yeah, I mean, besides probably Fender, they can be compared, whatever. So Gibson acquired Epiphone several decades ago. I don't know the exact number. And so then over the years, they would have Epiphone release like their cheaper version of their Gibson models.
Sure.
Just using like a slightly different type of wood, built in another country, something of that nature. And so my bass is what's known as an Epiphone Jack Cassidy. It's not a Gibson one. In fact, the thing about the Jack Cassidy, which makes it so unique, is the pickup in it was designed by the bassist Jack Cassidy.
Well, there you go.
The pickup in it, there's no other pickup like it in the world. And it's got a switch on there which activates coils, 50, 200, 50, 250, and 500. And with each coil activated, or amount of coils activated, is how much the bass is outputting.
Sure.
And I've never seen another bass or guitar with that. But I know for the sound, it has the punchiest bass sound on the market. Because of that pickup and the fact that it's a semi-hollow body bass. So I love that bass. And that's what I use. I get so much crap because people are like, oh, it's not a Gibson. And it's like, a Gibson can't produce the sound I want. It doesn't have that capability. Yeah. But because it's not this name brand thing, people get so mad about it, like, oh, Epiphone sucks. And they get like all up in my face about it.
Yeah. And that to me is just ridiculous, where it's just like, just because I want a different product doesn't mean that I want a crappy product.
Yeah. But it's where they've let their illusions of you have to be an elite, super elite with something.
Yeah.
And with a product in order to be the best, and then downgrade everyone else. It's basically they've let their passions turn them into a beehole. And instead of building bridges, they're burning bridges.
See, and that's the big thing for me, is that the funny thing about any of these debates, the Tama versus Yamahas, it doesn't matter. Like, the thing is that we should be trying to find similarities.
Exactly.
And we should be, and one thing that I will say, if we were discussing the quality of something, sure, let's talk about what's better, what produces what sound when it comes to different instruments or whatever else. But for you to just be like, oh, it's not a Gibson, or you like Marvel?
And the thing is, I've owned a Gibson bass, and I ended up selling it because it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's not like I hate Gibson or anything. It's just like they're not really my cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that, I mean, what about all the different musicians throughout the world? Like, it's not like all of them use Gibsons, or all of them use Fenders, or all of them use whatever. They all have their own thing. They all have their own sound they're trying to produce. And because of the sound that they're trying to produce, they use different instruments or different brands.
Exactly.
And for people to say, oh, well, that's because that musician's an idiot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, he's the one making millions and you're the one at home talking about him being an idiot.
I know, seriously.
So who's the real idiot here?
And then speaking of, that person's an idiot. Another thing I've noticed with these types of people, if they have one sliver of knowledge, more than you or something you didn't know, they will constantly bring that up.
And they'll hold it over your head forever.
And then like I've seen them use it with other people. One example is the Lego Movie.
Okay.
Was written by the guys who wrote 21 Jump Street.
Okay.
And they also originally wrote Clone High.
Okay.
And so had this former guitarist who was like, oh yeah, the guys who wrote the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, they were the guys who originally wrote Clone High, and no one's heard of Clone High. And so he would always be like almost hipsterish
and
hold that over people's heads.
Yeah.
Like that they never heard of Clone High, but yet they heard of the Lego Movie.
Well, and it's always like this ridiculous tiny piece of trivia that doesn't really affect anyone.
Well, and it's like talking about it reminds me of talking about an actor when they first started, like how Chris Evans, Captain America, was on Dream Phone.
Yeah.
It's that type of stuff.
Who
it's like
cares?
Random knowledge that nobody really cares about.
Yeah.
Except you, because you need to have this to feel validated. And that's like the main point of this whole thing is they're so passionate about their stuff that they become insecure for who they are, that they need to feel validated by putting others down, which is an insane amount more than what other people do.
Well, and
They're
it's
normally just insecure. If they're insecure and they have a
Yeah.
passion, it's the one thing they're holding on to.
yeah,
And then it's like they become almost defensive over it.
well, and that's honestly that's super unhealthy. You know, if you're gonna react in that way just because someone doesn't like the same things that you like, then you need to reevaluate your priorities.
Talking to you, social justice warriors.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa!
mic drop. Anyway, that's our show. I want to thank Caleb for coming on. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 show. For bi-weekly episodes on society and counterculture, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. For regular updates, show notes, and links, head to the MCS1show.com or search AOL keyword MCS1.